everyone, welcome to my channel. I am Darla Lucian of Darla Lucian Studios, and we are going to work on, I'm going to call this Mini Accordion Spine Journal, and you'll figure that out in a minute. And we are going to try to use True Junky junk to make this. So I want to show you, because I was watching on some other channels, and they used 12 by 12 scrapbooking paper cut in half, so it was a 6 by 12 sheet. You following me so far? So you can make two out of one scrapbooking paper. So these are not junk, right? These are made from supplies bought specifically for crafting. And so I have done, you can see, I've done a few of these. I like them. They're really quick to make, and they're cute. And you can use all different kinds. I use cardstock and scrapbooking paper to make those, and I really like them. And I like having stuff at the ready that I can just fill with ephemera. These will make really great quick gifts for people if you know, if I'm in a hurry to pick something up for people. Anyway, so my thought was, you know, can we do this out of junk instead of using scrapbooking paper or things specifically bought for junk journaling? So I thought, okay, well, first things first, I need to get a sheet of paper that is 12 by 6. So I had some Mary Kay, let me just show you. I had some Mary Kay booklets, okay? I got some given to me. The person had extras. And so it's just, the spine is just put together with a stapler. So, and get to the center, right? Remove the staples. Where is my staple remover? It's now at the very bottom there. Okay. I don't use it very often, actually. Okay. Here we go. One. Come on, get out you. Okay. So then, these sheets are all free from each other, right? And so we want to keep them together. We don't want to tear them out because we need the width, right? Okay, so I only have a few sheets left for my other one because it wasn't as easy as I thought to make it. Anyway, so I'm going to clear the decks here, and then I'll show you kind of what has happened. Oh, I was working on some other projects. Let's just clear those little bits off to the side too. Okay, we'll come back to this in a minute. Okay, so this needs to be from the center spine. It needs to be 6 this way, 6 this way. So we don't want to measure like, this is I think about 14. So we don't want to measure like 2 inches in here because we really want to keep this the center. So what I had done was I had measured from the edge of the paper. I measured from different places, but I found that the easiest to do is to measure from the center spine for the cut and do individually each side rather than folding it like this. That's just because they aren't always perfectly folded. This one is actually almost perfectly folded, so maybe it would work for this one. But when the corners aren't completely lined up, it doesn't necessarily work. So finding your spot, your 6-inch spot on your, you know what, I'm going to turn this upside down. Upside down to me, but at least you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we want the spine. So let's just make sure we find the spine. Okay, so the spine needs to be the part that we're keeping. So it needs to come in here on this side. So then we go until we find 6, which is marked there. Okay. And that, I'm not keeping those. Okay, so that gives us our 6 by 6. And you see it's almost perfectly square. And then when we open it, it will be 12 by 6, right? All right, so then again, so we've talked about using the center part for measuring, and I really do mean that that's the way to do it, because I don't know, for some reason they keep going wonky on me, and I cannot tell you why that is. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm lining it up with the 1 inch mark. Because the center, oh, come on, I just shifted it. So this is going to be awkward upside down because I normally hold this part with this hand. All right, so now I'm going to go to 1.5 with this ruler, and I'm using this to square, and I'm going to mark with my pencil. So I don't normally get this precise when I'm doing measuring and stuff, but seriously, I have had such trouble with this particular project. And it's important to get this part right. The other part, it doesn't matter so much, but if you don't get this part right, the whole thing goes a little wonky. All right, so 1, 2, 3, okay, I need one more. So if you're just scoring on a scoreboard, you start at 4 and you score every 1/2 inch all the way to 8. Does that make sense? So 6 should be your center. If you're doing it this way, you start with 6 as your center and you go 6.5, 7, 7.5, 8. See that? So now I'm going to turn this around to the other side. I am going to put this back on the 1. Supposedly it's going to go on the 1. Okay. It's so important for this measuring to be precise, because when you fold back and forth, just the smallest difference makes all the difference to your spine. And your spine, of course, is the part that has to have the most integrity. All right, so now I'm going in at a 1/2 inch. And you notice that I'm not cutting, of course. I'm wanting to score this. So I am going to put the lines on, and then I am going to score it afterward. And I'm trying to get everything to be square. I'm trying to make my ruler square. 1, 2, 3, one more. And keep the paper square. And I'm doing, it's like basting and sewing, right? It's the extra step that, you know, if you know what you're doing, you probably don't need to do it, but sure isn't a bad idea. Okay. So, now that I'm lining this up, and I am trying to find my pencil right there. Okay. Okay, so then I'm going to use my embossing tool, which is disappeared. Oh, good Lord. Where did you go? Oh, slid down. Alright, so I just use my embossing tool and my paper cutter because it works just as effectively. And it's one less piece of equipment for right now. I mean, if I reorganize my studio, maybe I'd find the room. I'm not saying that a what am I doing? Scoreboard wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean, it would be fine. They're great, and I've seen people use them really quick and effectively, and I'm jealous of how fast that works for them because I have to line everything up really precisely. And I think that actually if you used a scoreboard for this instead of the way that I'm doing, that your scoring would be more precise, and it would help with, and it would help with the whole situation that we have of making sure that our accordion folds are exact equal distance from each other. Okay, is that? That's the center. Okay. So there we go. We're across center, so. And I just go over it twice. I don't want to push down too hard because I don't want to tear the paper, because you can tear the paper right through when you're doing scoring. So you gotta be, we want to create a chance for it to fold on a straight line, which is why scoring is so lovely, because you can make perfectly lined up folds every time. And I don't know, my folding game, when I'm just free folding or freehand or whatever you want to call it, yeah, my folding game is pretty weak. So scoring is where it's at. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to get these big tools out of our way here. Okay. So I want to keep this fold in the center going that way. So then every second score line, you fold it the same direction. So now I'm going to fold this one, and then I'm going to fold this one. Okay, and then I'm going to go across to the other side, starting at the center. Every second one, we're going to fold out. And one more. So you'll see that we're going to get 4 accordion parts in our spine, but of course 3 are going to be sticking on the outside, plus the cover, of course. Alright, so we have our accordion. Now let's see how well we did. This is the moment of truth. Oh my goodness, you guys inspire me. I think this is my best one yet. That is pretty even. So if you look in here, we can see that the fold lines are pretty lined up. There's this one that's kind of randomly long. And then when we look along the side here, there's nothing sticking out too wonky or anything there. Alright, so then what you do is we need to prepare a spine. So good old tacky glue. Love this stuff. You want to have something strong because it's the spine. So in every, make sure you have it so that your cover's on the outside, right? So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4 bumps. And then here, we're going to have 5 spots, I believe, to glue. So 1, 2, 3, come on. Oh, my glue chip is all wonky. 4, I guess I have 4 to glue in the inside too. Alright, so 4 valleys, 5 mountains on the outside. Alright, so now we just need to squish this all together. And this is the tricky part of not getting glue on yourself. Actually, the tricky part is doing the scoring. Okay, so now we're just squishing this together. So this is going to create the spine. I'll tell you what. If you don't have binder clips for this, you know, paper clips or something is the best to do that. Because, of course, tacky glue does take a bit to dry. And so, there we go. So, I'm going to set this off to the side to dry. I can't believe how good this one turned out. This is really good, actually. Alright, so, yeah, so you get the idea. So, I scored it, and then this one needs to be folded and glued as well. And I will do that later. For some reason I thought I needed to show you that. Okay, so this particular one, she is all done. So I started covering it and then I thought, oh my gosh, I need to show you guys what I'm up to. So this is like magazine weight. It's pretty flimsy. It's not the thickest, right? And so, but we wanted to use junk stuff, right? Like stuff that we have. So I had this bit of a letter, so I put that on the front because I think that's going to be great. And then this is the French part of probe game. So I like, you know, like I live in Canada, so everything's in English and in French, and we don't read French, or we can read Canadian English. So, oh, water. Oh, that's good. Okay, so I like how it looks with the French on there, but as I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, why didn't I just distress ink it first? Make it look a little older. Actually, let's not get the desk all gross. Okay, so I'm just kind of going around and adding a little bit of color. I'm not too worried about the bottom as much because I think I'll probably end up putting a pocket down there. But you notice that I put an extra little strip on here, and that just adds some definition to the front. So I'm going to do more with the front, obviously, than just this. But the other thing I wanted to just bring up while we're at this stage of doing the cover is that once you have the inside and outside of the covers done, you could stitch this on your sewing machine. That could be really cool, actually. So have it open and then stitch around here, here, and up here even. And so you see we got our accordion spine. And so what's going to happen is we're going to attach our pages in here. So this is like a really great place to put in ephemera. And so I've got some different ideas, but let's just finish the cover first. So this is coming up just a little, so the idea of sewing on it is actually kind of cool. All right, so let's keep working on here. So then I had this one. This is actually from an envelope, I think. But it's not quite big enough, you see? And so I was thinking, what if I put a piece of this old checked one there too? And that would be kind of fun, right? All these junky pieces. So just to kind of make it a little more, instead of cutting it, and make it a little bit more naturally looking, but maybe tear it. So how far in do we need to be? Like tip out there. Okay. I want it to be square at the edges, but the center doesn't need to be. Let's see what that looks like. Oh yeah, see, I like that. I'm going to save these bits because you just never know when you can use some old check for something. Okay, and so before I glue this down this time, I am going to use a little bit of ink just to make the edge stand out of it. Okay, so this is the front half of this envelope. So I'm just going to glue it back down. Just using Oohoo. Mostly because I'm thinking I am going to probably stitch around it. Because now that I've said that, I really like that idea. And normally when I glue on something shiny, I would use tacky glue. But I think I really will stitch around here. So I'm just trying to center it back to where I had it again. Well, Wonky apparently is my middle name. What kinds of things do you guys like using when you're using up junk? Do you have stuff like this old stuff, or do you like to use new stuff? I mean, it doesn't matter. Is it old or is it new? It all looks kind of cool. Alright, so now I've got to line this baby up to the edge. So I just wanted to cover that. Alright, that's looking good. Liking that. Alright, then on the back, I was thinking putting this and then maybe some of this old prescription I had. This is just part of a letter. And this is an old prescription, so I was thinking of doing a similar thing, but maybe not putting the layers in the spine. Let's put it at the edge maybe. She's speaking out. It's a bit short. Well, the other thing is, I mean, there is just this piece that's right here, right? Why not just use it up since we already know it's the right length that way? Alright, I'm going to do that. Yeah, I'm very generous with the glue because I do want it to stay while we're working on it. Normally if I'm knowing I'm going to sew something, I'm not as worried about the gluing process, but I don't want this to fall apart while we're working on it, right? Okay, come on. My glue stick is making the elevation. Okay. Now lining up to the edge. There we go. Good. Okay, so we have front and back, inside and out covered. So this would be like the perfect time to go stitch stitch. So then another thing that we could do is we could use this to make a pocket. That could be fun. Possibly. Okay, so but before I get too excited about that, so I wanted to show you kind of what I was thinking of for, I'll put my collage bits here, for the inside pages. So I had this idea of doing kind of a garden theme one, and so I had a bit of a greeting card. I had it's from, you know, mailer from a cookbook magazine. There's these. I was just going to figure out which one I liked the best. Honestly, it's probably going to be that one, as I'm looking at this now. And then I got this little seed packet given to me where they already pinked the top off. You see? And so now it's a pocket from the top. So now it's just a matter of figuring out what page order I would want these ones in. What if I folded this in half? This will work as a pocket. Glue that shut and have it as a pocket this way. That could be fun. So this would be a pocket, and this is a pocket. Pocket, pocket, and then page. Well, if we have this little guy in front of this bigger one, what would that look like? I don't mind that. And then this one at the back. Keep everything nice and stiff. Okay. Well, that's easy enough to decide. Alright, so then, here is how we prep our pages. So this is the order that I want them in. I'm going to start at the back on this. Don't always, but this is the first one that I had picked. And so I am just going to trim it down a little. So first of all, I'm going to make this edge square. I don't want to lose too much off the front of this because I want to keep the fact that it's a wheelbarrow, and having the tire in there I feel helps with that. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to take a little off the bottom, but not a lot, which means I have to take some off the top because I want it to fit right in my page. I don't want it to go over, so that is where we have to cut, about there. Okay, and then about there. These could make good pseudo washi tapes. Okay, so there we go. We are in. And actually, I'm going to attach this. So like we always have choices when we're putting our spines in to the accordion journal. Are we going to attach it behind the flap or in front of the flap? And because I like this picture, I'm going to actually attach it in front. And then the back is going to need to be covered so that we can use it for journaling on. So let me just grab a piece of coffee dye paper. paper here. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to just put glue all over the back of this. Okay. And then I'm going to try getting into a corner as much as I can. I don't know if I'm that square. I don't feel as square as I was thinking I was. Alright. Oh goodness. I just tossed my... I'll have to figure that out later. Okay. So here we go. We're just going to cut this down. Just using the card as the guide, right? And we just need to do as big as the card. So it's easier to glue on and then cut down to size rather than trying to cut perfect size on my cutter here and then find out that maybe this isn't square or I just didn't line it up right. It's just easier to do it like this. Okay, so now I'm going to put a bit of glue. Actually, I'll put a bit of glue on the spine here. This is the tacky glue again. Okay, and then line that right up in there and press. So we want to be able to open and close our book. I think what's going to serve me better is to have this a little bit torn here, because I think that there's a bit of a wonkiness in the spine. And it is not allowing it to open and close very nicely. So I'm just using my finger as a guard for it not to come too far in, but I don't mind a little bit, right? Okay. Okay, so let's see how we're doing here. Alright, so the first page is in. So our next page was going to be this. Okay, we were going to glue this shut and this shut, cut this to size. I want to cut that to about there, I'm going to say. There. Okay. Alright, so that cut off the end that was kind of wonky. And sometimes what's nice is to just cut a little, like a thumb hole. So that people can see, oh yes, that's a pocket. We're going to go in there and we're going to be able to, you know, whatever, do stuff. So I am going to just ink this. Now you could just leave this like this, or you can cover it, right? I don't mind it like this. I think this is kind of fun. I'll probably put some decoration on it, but I think it's kind of hilarious that we're using some of these different kind of bits. Alright, so now I need to have glue along two sides and then glue in the spine. Okay, so that's going to glue down. And then glue in the spine. I'm going to glue on the front of this one as well. I wanted to make sure that I had enough that was spread out, though. I don't want it to be, I'm just going to redo that crease a little. Okay. So apparently I forgot that it was shorter than the rest, and so I have a little glue on the ends, and I don't really want to stick the rest of the stuff together, so I'm just going to take it off with my rag. There we go. Okay, so next one is in. Alright, then the next one was going to be this little guy. I like this a lot. I love the idea of this. So this is simple. I'm going to actually put the glue on this guy, because we know this side's going to be the part that's going in. And then I'll just get it the right height. You're probably wondering why I didn't do that the first time. Works fine if you have full pages, right? Okay, so then we have to decide where we want this. And I think I want it kind of closer to the bottom, actually, because I like seeing this progression. Okay, so there we go. So we've got 3 in. Alright, so the last one is this guy. So I love what this looks like here, but obviously that's going to be way too big. So I'm going to need to take off a little bit on both sides to keep the photo, I think. Sacrifices have to be made. This is very fun looking, but okay. And then I want to put it in as like a full page. So I'm going to take, yeah, no. Okay, I'm going to cut it off right on these numbers here. And that's a fun little piece to use somewhere else. Alright, so just like so. And it's going to look great, isn't it? Okay. So you can do all different kinds of ephemera in here, and I mean, you could see how easy it would be to add all different kinds of things into this, I'm moving over the edge, into this kind of a thing. So like a postcard or an envelope or tags, like anything that's the right size could be made into a page, right? Let's see if that'll fit in here. Look at that. See? Great. So we've already filled one thing. I told you I'm horrible at folding, hey? And now you know it's true. So some of these things can just tuck in. There's, you know, different places to put things. We can make pocket on the front and on the back. And in fact, I might just do that. Let's see. Are one of these big enough, or is it too big? That could work. All right. So I'm just putting the glue right on where the stitching is, because first of all, it's like a visual aid to figuring out exactly how big my pocket is, but also that's kind of the part that sticks out the most, and so therefore is the part that needs to be glued down the most, right? Alright, so this does stick out just a little, but I'm not too worried about that. I mean, I can always trim it if I hate it. I don't hate it right now anyway. Alright, so there we go. Now, just want to do something quick to finish the front, and I had this little bit from a different project, and I was thinking that would look really cute on there, but let's just see about, it's obviously too big the way it is. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay, so then what happens when I ink is it just, you know, because we're white against white, it will give it a little bit of like a frame, so it'll stand out a bit. I'm just thinking and thinking. Okay, I like that a lot, and I still feel like it needs something, maybe a label or something like that. Let's see, what do we have? That's an interesting piece. I might use that in a collage later, but look how great that looks together, hey? Funny what you come across when you're just putzing about. Let's see. Well, that's cute. You want a stamp or something? I have some stamps in here. Oh, there's a nice big stamp. Too big. It's just too big. I have a smaller one possibly. Similar. Oh yeah, there we go. 2 pence. It was tucked behind. Or I don't mind it over there actually. Okay. Something else. Maybe something green. Number 4. Whoa. Little label. Yeah, then we have a cluster of 3. That makes me happy. Odds are always more visually appealing, right? Okay. Oh, let's ink first before we get too excited here. Okay. A little bit around here. And I'm just going to do the edge that I cut on this as well. When you cut out of like magazines and books and other, you know, places, then you always have that white edge, which, you know, just doesn't look as nice. At least not to me anyway. That's like the framing effect that inking the edge does. Just seems to finish it somehow. Alright. So let's see. I want this over a bit now because we're adding something on this side for extra weight. Alrighty. There we go. Let's come in just a little so that we got room for our stamp to go over the edge. We're not going to have time to obviously decorate all the inside, but I wanted to show you kind of the basic construction and then like how it just, it's really quick to come together. Yeah, look at that. And I love how the letters behind the roses, I don't know, I find that so fascinating. And here we've got a nice pocket, and we've got our pages, which we can, you know, we can write right on here, or we could cover it if we want. Same thing with the sunflower thing. We can leave it like that, which I like the front like that, but I might cover the back with something. Also, you can staple your stuff in your spine, or you can use eyelets or brads. If you start using a lot of stuff that's thick though, then your spine starts to get a little cumbersome. So then there's our little side pocket that we made, and then the back. And so I would still probably put washi tape or electrical tape or duct tape down and cover these up, because I just find it a little busy to see like pattern, you know, pattern, and then this as a pattern as well. I would probably cover that center part after I've put stuff down. Here isn't so bad, you know, because it's just plain, but like where we start seeing other stuff, then I kind of like to cover. I don't mind like the small print as like the background. That doesn't seem as busy to me somehow, you know, like you can tuck something in to your pocket. Ooh, actually, I think we might have to do that one there before we forget how wonderful that's going to look. Let's ink that and tuck that down too. Wow, that was just random. This is on my desk. Let's try it out. Yep. That's the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes it's just use what's on your desk, and if you like it, then just go with it. Like, don't second guess it. Just roll with it. And I really like how that looks. And I think that that really brings that color across, right? And it's brown with the pink. And this is a brown kind of background with the pink. So pretty. Anyway, so I hope that you got some value out of this video. If you did, then please, you know the drill. Would you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell? It really helps. You know, the more that I have likes and comments and subscriptions, the better that Google and YouTube love me and put me up higher in the search, in the algorithms, and share. So share with other crafty people. Let's keep this inspiration rolling. And I will just catch you in the next video. Take care, everyone, and have a wonderful day.